Hello everyone, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc. and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc. and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc. and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching. And hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel. As you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day. How goes it? How goes it? How goes it, family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Now, I'm not trying to be Mr. Stick in the mud when it boils down to the quote unquote retirement system. Me being a millennial, getting older now, but me being a millennial and, the people that are coming after me, we are the generations that don't have real retirement plans, retirement pension plans. Let's just put it like that. We have certain people that work at certain jobs that have retirement plans, or if they're if they're not work if they're small business owners that have their own pension plan, or they have their own individual retirement account. There's various different amounts of quote unquote retirement plans that are out there for the self-employed that they can have on their own. If their employer doesn't offer some sort of a 401k retirement plan. And then of course you have a variety of people that you know like I said, you have the variety of people that were from the baby boomer generation and the previous generation before that, and the Gen X generation, where they had the opportunity to actually have pension plans. That's why back then it was very normal to work from home. Work from home. That's why it was very normal to work at this for the same company for up to 30 years to 40 years, or until the day you died, things of that nature. So anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But times have changed. It's a different world we're in now. And with that being said, it's more people have to fend for themselves. That's why I'm glad that we do live in a time where the financial intelligence mission has become a more phenomenal and important thing. But the last pieces of the old school pension plans fell in line with the city governments, state governments, federal government, and the military. All right, which is basically the federal government. But um, for the last 20, almost 30 years now, most government, civilian government agencies have done away with the previous pension plan that actually people could live off of. I forgot what they called it, but yeah, they actually used to have pension plans back 10, 15, 20 years ago, of people when they retired from the job. They got a good amount of money. Basically, they got the same amount, almost up to the same amount of money that they were earning when they were working for the government entity. And it was great. I always hear from the people from that generation that retired, and they like basically got a full pension plan and they living it up. They don't really have to have a job. If they have a job, it's because they want to, not because they have to, from a financial standpoint. But gone are those days. And now I remember my buddy Money Mike. Definitely check out his podcast show. He definitely great information. Just look up Money Mike, and he should be able to pop up on YouTube or Facebook. But he's a retired army, and he told me, he informed me, and I did my research, that he's like, yeah, the military's done away with their pension plans. I was like, well, hold up. Now it's like a gift and a curse, because after I did my research, I'm like, okay, well, because the thing is, it's like if you most people that served in the military do not serve 20 years, and for those that do, thank you for your service, but they don't serve 20 years and whatnot. But a good chunk were getting out, and they didn't have any sort of retirement plan. I did not realize that. I thought that was interesting. So it's like, okay, so but a lot of times people get money from the VA, and they get money for being a vet, so they get money from what is it? Access to education, access to small business loans from the SBA administration, all that good stuff. Anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. They deserve it. Those are definitely earned benefits for serving the country. So that's a beautiful thing. But another thing to take into consideration is now that because I'm going to start with the federal government, military, because most federal government employees, or all federal government employees nowadays, the ones that are not a part of the old system, their retirement plan is called TSP plan, and that is known as a thrift savings plan. Basically, a federal government version of a 401k. State governments, local governments have their own version of a 401k. They have their various different names for it, and that's just what it is. You make a contribution. They add, they make a certain match to those specific contributions that you make to the quote unquote retirement plan, and you just go from there. But now the military has adopted the same model. Like I said, the gift is that for those that are not going into the military and they're not going to serve 20 years, they have an opportunity to get some money towards a pension plan that they can actually, if they want to, cash out. But of course, you pay a penalty as far as on that, a tax penalty on that. And then, or they could just roll it over too if they want to, they're working for a private corporation, they could roll over to that private corporation's retirement plan, because no such thing as pensions anymore. And or if they're working for themselves, they can just roll it over into an individual retirement account. So that's the gift and the curse. But they call it blended retirement system now. All right, because like obviously, what's basically you have the new retirement system with the military is known as the blended retirement system, BRS, which is it comes from blending two major sources of retirement income. The existing annuity provision for those who retired, and I'm reading this verbatim, yes, after 20 years or more years of service, plus the Thrift Savings Plan, the TSP, is a government-run 401k retirement account that allows members to invest their money in into either stocks or government securities, and also get contributions to that account from their employer. All right. So that is basically, at the end of the day, the new retirement plan for the military. And like I said, I mean, some would beg to differ, especially people from the older school, because they like the ones that did their 20 years and they're like, hey, we deserve it. And they do. But the ones that only served, 5, 6 years, 10 years tops or whatnot, they have an opportunity now to have more, to have access to, I call it access to capital, to be able to roll it over. Or, hey, if they want to pay the tax penalty, and they could actually use that money to invest it into a business or invest it into something else and some things of that nature. So it's just something to think about, because you want to be able to have multiple vehicles to pull money from, not just have multiple streams of income, but you want to be able to have multiple vehicles to pull money from. All right. But anyways, the BRE uses the retirement annuity formula that has been in place for years. The average of service members high as 36 months of basic pay times 2.5% of the years of service, but 2.5% is adjusted downward by half a percentage point from a 2.5 to 2%. To make up this reduction, the government will contribute to a member's thrift savings plan. All right. So after 60 days in service, all service members of the military are enrolled in a TSP and receive an automatic government contribution of 1% of the basic pay into their account each month. This is 1% contribution is automatic. You don't have to put any of your own money in to receive it. And additionally, members are automatically enrolled to contribute 3% of their out-of-pocket basic pay to the TSP each month. They can change or stop this at any time. So after 2 years of service, the government will match the members' contribution up to an additional 4%. So after 2 years of service, members can get up to 5% government matching contributions on the top of what they contribute each month. All right. But anyways, I'm going into this and I'm talking about this for one specific reason. And the main reason is quote unquote pension plans are a thing of the past. Um, a lot of businesses, small businesses, are not going to be around anymore because of the way the economy is right now. Great example, when me and my buddy Adrian were walking through downtown Phoenix, um, and I don't think this is talked about enough in regards to the economy, regardless of what state you're in. You walk through a lot of downtowns now, you see a lot of empty commercial fronts, and it's just because a lot of businesses could not make it through the pandemic. One, and then two, it's just like a lot of places are just becoming obsolete because people don't having big need to go out and shop anymore like that. Everything's online. I mean, heck, I I get darn near everything online nowadays, from restaurant food to groceries. I really don't have a reason to go into a store anymore like that. So, and most people, and I'm a millennial, so imagine the generation coming up after me, the kids that are coming up now from elementary school, middle school, high school, and in college. It's going to be weird to them to even go into a store right now, or in the future when they get older and things of that nature. So that's another thing to take into consideration as far as job opportunity, future jobs, and things of that nature. But then another thing to take into consideration is, since most people do not discuss the amount of money that they are making, I mean, I'm sorry, that they are saving and that they're investing, like they just like to discuss entertainment, and I get it, because it's funny. I put on Instagram, I put up my regular content. I get a couple of views, get a couple of likes and whatnot. I put up a 10-second reel of Snoop Dogg basically cussing Suge Knight out and whatnot, and already a day ago, and already it's at almost 4,000 views and whatnot, and hundreds of likes and whatnot. So that shows me where. I remember David Banner said, meet your people where they're at. Everybody loves entertainment, so that's definitely another thing I've taken into consideration. But I digress. But another thing I will say is that the reason why retirement is basically it doesn't exist for working people, because that's the topic that I'm on today. It doesn't exist for working people because most working people do not want to sit down and do the numbers and sit down with a financial professional and say, hey, um, these are my numbers that I want to look at when I retire, quote unquote, when I get in my 60s and whatnot, because I know people now that are in the early to mid to late 60s, and I look and I'm like, yeah, you guys have been working all your life, and you some of them make even more money than me, and there's still no end of the road. It's like that old school Boys to Men song. Now we've come to the end of the road. But most can't say that because most have not done their due diligence in regards to not only increasing their income, but they've not done the due diligence in regards to increasing the amount of assets that they have. Because the ones I've always asked, the one when I started working at work, I in the job, quote unquote, job market, I remember asking the my elders and whatnot, as we would call the old heads, and I would say, hey, so you're the ones that are about to retire. So I'm like, okay, you're about to retire. How did you do it? So majority of the ones that were about to retire back, and this is back in 2005, 7, 8 time frame, they were part of the old school pension plans with the federal government and with corporations and whatnot when they still existed. So they told me that they worked X amount of years and whatnot. They saved X amount of dollars, but they also invested their money in various other aspects of real estate, individual retirement accounts, bonds, just within the stock market and things of that nature. And a lot of times even the smarter ones, like, yeah, I did all that. Plus, I have a business on the side that I'm going to be able to, quote unquote, retire, but it's like a side hustle business, passive income business. To where I don't have to stress and get up at 4:30 in the morning to get to work every day and whatnot. All right. Now, another reason why I look at retirement being a thing of the past for working people and whatnot is just because most regular working people still have this mindset of I can just me and my significant other, or just me and myself and I can do it alone, and that's all it's going to be. And for the most part, I wish I could say it's true, but it's really, unfortunately, it's false for a lot of people because, like I said, they don't really get into the nuts and bolts of it. They don't get into the numbers and whatnot. And a lot of people's mindset is, hey, the retirement system is in a sense broken, and in a sense I say 50% of that is true, but then I also say the other as 50% of it is untrue for one specific reason. Well, one reason people say it's broken because most people don't even think social security is going to be around in the next 15 to 20 years. They think that social security is going to be a thing of the past, and or it's going to constantly go broke and whatnot because it's not being managed correctly, or there's not enough contributions to it. Especially, you have a growing number of people that are one becoming more and more self-employed. That's another thing to take into consideration. And two, you have a lot of people that are just working off the books as well. I hear those conversations all the time now. Obviously, they have to deal with the IRS one day. Eventually, the IRS they're kind of like the Mounties. They always get their man or woman or child or whatnot, but eventually they're going to have to deal with that, and they're just going to be able to go from there, right? But the one thing this article was talking about in regards to the broken retirement system in the United States is, on one hand, the pandemic is pushing more people into retirement. On the other, millions of Americans feel that they won't ever be able to retire. This is true. So, excuse me. Of course, I'm going to sneeze while I'm live. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm talking about this right now, because this article really just smacked me in my face. I think I'm going to be fine because I not only I work on increasing my income, I want to be able to put myself at the retirement age and be able to just work on things that matter to me. Those are my goals and aspirations. I know most working people would like anybody else would like to be able to quit their job tomorrow, but I know most working people don't want to dedicate their time and energy into even looking at the numbers, looking at the state or the city or the country that they may want to live in or whatnot. Because I've talked about this before, how the last 10 to 15 years, the number of Americans that have been retiring in other parts of the world and whatnot. That's why a lot of people don't want, and I've heard a lot of Puerto Ricans tell me this. They don't want Puerto Rico to become a state. They want it to remain a territory for one specific reason, especially a lot of my Puerto Rican folks that are from New York and New Jersey and whatnot, is because a lot of them are able to retire down in the island, buy a house, cash money, and not pay any personal property taxes on their home. And to me, that's a beautiful thing. If you can actually own a home outright, not worry about paying personal property taxes, I don't see that being a bad thing. I mean, matter of fact, for those that want to know, the only state in the continental United States that you can buy a house in with no personal property tax is actually the state of West Virginia. But that's one of the most boring states in the country to live. Two, they have the least amount of international flights in America. You do the math. I mean, I thought Wyoming would be on that list, but no, Wyoming is actually considered more of a fun place than West Virginia. I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, people are living and maintaining, longer and preparing for retirement is increasingly difficult for most middle class workers. Since, like I stated, pensions are not they're shrinking, they're gone. The article says pensions are shrinking. I said, nah, they're basically gone. Everybody's got a 401k, and if not, they got nothing, or they got an individual retirement account, or they're just going old fashioned and putting money in the mattress, under the mattress. I don't know, but anyways. And another thing the article says, and I believe this is true, a lot of people are saving less. Housing and long-term costs are increasing faster than wages and salaries. That's been talked about 1,000 times. And a new study that was actually done by the World Health Organization reports that working long hours is an occupational health risk. I couldn't agree with that statement more. And a lot of times for me, it's like the work I do isn't really strenuous as much as back-breaking work or things of that nature. Because a lot of the work I do is I'm passionate about: writing blogs, making content, selling products, engaging with other people that are in that same space and whatnot. But according to the World Health Organization, people who are 55 years old or more, people who actually not 55, people who work 55 or more hours a week have 35% higher risk of having a stroke and 17% higher risk of dying from heart disease compared to people who work between the standard weekly 35 to 40 hours. Now, before I go forward, one thing I will say is your health is your wealth. Now, I always say make money moves or you're going to live bro like a fool, but your health is your wealth. So anybody out there, do your darndest to be as healthy as possible. I'm not saying we're all going to be bodybuilders or supermodels or things of that nature, but do your best to be as healthy as possible. If you got health insurance, take advantage of it. If you don't, take advantage of the Affordable Care Act, as they call Obamacare. You got to be able to do something because you don't, like, hey, I'm attending a funeral this week. So what does that tell you? So that says a lot right there. All right. Now, the article says what can be done to improve the status quo and help Americans, especially Americans of quote unquote color, become more financially resilient and prepare for the achieve successful retirement at appropriate age. And they said what can be done to improve the retirement security for future generations is a good question, because a lot of people are just they they're just at a crossroads of I don't know. And one of my best friends, she died a couple of years ago. I'm not going to mention her name, but she was 77 years old. She looked like she might have been 60, 65, but it was sad that she was still working so long before. And she had so many great plans. And that's why I take this money thing very seriously, because if you run into money issues in life to where you can't handle certain things, you got to put that GoFundMe out there. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty bad. It's like a lot of times, certain instances, especially for my people that are 30 and up, a lot of certain instances, things could have been avoided if not only if one was working on trying to increase their income, trying to increase their skill sets, but when one is trying to work diligently work on increasing their assets accumulations, whether it's nowadays crypto, stocks, bonds, real estate, living below one's means and whatnot. And sometimes, like I said, even in certain instances, if you got to live like certain immigrants who people got 2 or 3 families up in the house for a couple of years so that you can increase your savings and increase your assets and whatnot, I'm all for it, because me personally, at the end of the day, that's one thing I've prided myself on, and that's why I've been able to somewhat live the life that I'm living now, is because I live continuously, even to this day, a lot of times below my means, because one, nobody needs to know what I'm doing and how much I'm really worth, and two, I'm not never big on flossing. The biggest floss is when you wake up and you got your cell phone, and for me, and I look at certain accounts and whatnot and see the assets increasing on a regular basis, and when the rental income hits the account and whatnot, that passive income, that's the floss for me that I don't have to announce to the world. That's the biggest floss for me. But a lot of people, they want to floss with cars, do your thing. They want to floss with clothes, do your thing. But um, I like using other people's money. I don't like giving other people my money. So that's my mindset when it comes to down at the end of the day. But I really made this video because I'm about to get off. I really made this video because I just want to implore everybody, especially my folks that are in their 30s. Now, if you haven't done so, now is the time to get the calculator out. Now is the time to consult a financial professional. Okay, because 20, 30 years from now, you got to ask yourself the question: how you're working today, is that how you want to work 20, 30 years from now? I cannot answer that question for you. I know I don't, and I can say that live and with being proud and whatnot. That's why the next couple of years of my life is dedicating towards retiring myself. Because I know I'm not trying to kill myself, and I darn sure. And I think I have to thank the pandemic. Thank you, COVID-19, because you kind of made me see the light and whatnot. In the sense to where I'm like, okay, this is kind of in a sense the lifestyle I want to live. I don't want to worry about getting on the highway and dodging traffic and whatnot. I don't want to worry about dealing with nonsense when I don't have to deal with it and whatnot. I don't want to be stuck in a place I don't want to live at because of a job that I work and whatnot. I want options. And that's the one beautiful thing that the pandemic has taught me. I want options in regards to how I make my money. I want more options in regards to the people I interact with. I want more options in regards to where I live at and things of that nature. And retirement for me is not about retirement is income, and that is something that it's not talked about enough. Okay, because I'll bring business and political figures into it. I'm going to go from um I'm going to go from Joe Biden. I'm going to go from Donald Trump. I'm going to go from Barack Obama. I'm going to go from Steve Jobs. I'm going to go Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Damon Johns, the former owner of BET. I forgot. I think his name is Robert Johnson, Bob Johnson. Um, the one gentleman that paid for the brothers' college tuition back in 2019. I always forget his name. The richest black man in the world from Africa, Nigeria. I forget his name. Steve, what is it? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. The list goes on and on. These people don't have to work anymore. Jeff Bezos is a decent age. He's not an old man. Elon Musk is not an old man. Mark Cuban is not an old man. Okay, that is the best way for me to describe it. I'm talking about real rich people. They don't have to work right now. They do it because they love it. They love what they do. Love him or hate him, all the names that I mentioned, even Kanye West, he doesn't have to work right now. Damon Dash does not have to work right now. If Nipsey Hussle was still alive, he would not, he would be 35, I believe, 35 or 36 years old. He would not have to, 2020, yeah, he'd be 36 years old this year, rest his soul. They would not have to work right now because they were making the exact kind of income where they did not have to work, but they wanted to work because they enjoyed what they did. Okay. And if you enjoy what you do, that's great. But these were people that enjoyed what they did and they could still make a good amount of money in their sleep. That's the difference. You have a lot of working people that enjoy what they do, but they don't have that kind of money, access to capital that like the people I mentioned earlier. However, those people that I mentioned and whatnot, they the ones that could actually they wanted to take a month off and not ever be seen or heard from for a month or two or a year or two because they got it like that from an economic standpoint, and that means a lot because they work to a point. Gary V, that's another great example. They've worked to a point where they don't have to, retirement. They're in the category of retirement has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with income, and that's one thing that most employers are just not going to tell you and whatnot. The 401k is not going to tell you that. The 401k is like, hey, you can't draw money from me until you reach a certain age. And even then, depending on the package that you have, you're going to have to pay a certain amount of fees and things of that nature. That's something to take into consideration. You're not even, or it's not going to be enough money for you to retire. That's something to take into consideration, family. That's all I can say on that one. So that's why I wanted to go in deep on that to really just talk about the importance of retirement and whatnot, and to remember that if you're not serious about it, then hey, it's gonna catch up with you in the long run. And then the thing is, if you especially those who want to be a burden on your family when you get older, to where you have to live with your children because you can't afford to retire on your own. Something to take into consideration. All right. All right, I'm out of here because I got a long day tomorrow. Do the great 3 free things: like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day, and as I always say, make money moves, or you're gonna live bro like a fool. Take care, family.